Okay, well, welcome. This is going to be a little bit of a different video. Trying lots of new things today. Trying talking to a microphone and doing the painting at the same time. I've never done that before. We're doing that new today. Feeling really comfortable doing this with my husband just wandering around the house. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna have a good time. Doing a little bit of a painting with a bird here. I think 2024 was like the year of birds for me. I'd never painted them, and then I ended up with a lot. But anyways, love doing birds now. We are going to try some new paints that I've gotten from Deep Light. We are trying ones with a little bit of a shimmer. So I have here, hopefully that shows up in the camera. This is bronze. Hopefully this is how you say it. Caput Mortuum. Sure, that's what we're gonna call it. From Deep Light. And golden gold ochre, which also has a gold shimmer to it. It's very subtle. Okay. And also silver tuff, which has silver in it. Hopefully you can see that. So these are part of their excuse me, festive dinner set that you can get off of their website. They're beautiful colors, and I'm really looking forward to using them. In addition to these, not part of the set, we're using their Cassel Brown. You can get this with the shimmer in it. It's called Darkling, I believe. I just don't have that one yet. And Mars Black, one of my favorites from them. It's the only one I've ordered for a full pan because I use it so much. So that altogether will be our palette for today. So we'll get started. And then this bird that we're going to paint today, the reference picture is on Pixabay, and I'll just put the link in the description if you want to look that up and try it for yourself. I've also got some new paintbrushes that I'm trying out. They're Princeton Aqua Elite. There's a little set. This one is not part of it. There are these 3 brushes. It also came with, I'll reach over here, this one as well. I just tend not to use it. So I'm loving these so far. And then this was like a cheapie set off Amazon. I can't even say the name that's on it, but yeah, there's just a little extra there. Everything I'll just link down in the description for you if you need that. And let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take my spray bottle here and just wet my paint. I'm also trying a new mic setup, so hopefully this sounds okay. By the time I get to editing, I'm not gonna want to re-record this. I'm sorry, we have this recording, so hopefully it's good for both of us. Which brush to choose? I'm gonna be thinking out loud. That might be a little dangerous, but we'll see what my brain comes up with today. So I'm going to start out with I think just the golden gold ochre. I promise I can speak. Just do a wash in the background. I have a loose plan for this. Oh my. Loose plan has been muddled a little bit. Thank goodness that watercolor lifts. Let's try this again. For like the 5th time. Okay. And that's totally fine because I was planning on mixing a little bit of silver tuff in there anyway. It'll just look blended in. So, as I am filling this in, I should probably let you know, if you haven't been reading my posts or anything, which I don't blame you if you haven't. I'm opening a shop in January and selling my paintings. And I've been super busy getting all of everything ready for that. Which is why, well, partially why this is delayed a little bit. I meant to get a video out like a week and a half ago. So part of it, part of the delay was that I had some unexpected to-dos in order to get my accounts ready, like my bank account and other things ready for opening a business. Hiccup number 2 was I actually started recording a video painting a couple of reindeer. There's a short of it. That's what I was able to get out of it. But it was one of those days where it started out sunny, it ended up overcast, life happened, and I had to step away from my desk a little bit, and by the time I got back the sun was going down and the lighting was just so inconsistent. I was like, I just need to scrap it. So that video never got made, but you got a short out of it so you can see the painting. That looks like a little much. Maybe I'll lift a bit up. So I did spend time doing a video for you guys. It just didn't pan out, which is fine. So, yeah, I've been super busy actually all year preparing for this. The website is up. So again, link in the description. So January 18th, 2025, in case you see this in the future, will be opening day. If you would like to get into the shop earlier than that, my newsletter subscribers will get early access on the 15th. And they'll be able to see the shop then. So if you go over to my website, right now I have just a pop-up that comes up. And it's really easy to subscribe from there. And I'm planning on just doing updates every time I have a shop update. So I'm not going to send out a ton of emails to you guys. I don't want to spam you. But anything worth noting, usually just the shop updates will be sent to you guys, and plan on having at least 1 or 2 perks for my subscribers because I really do appreciate them. And I appreciate you guys watching. It does support my channel. Okay. A little bit of the silver tuff here. And these are not the colors that are in the sample, like the reference picture. I'm just making it up. Just using that really simple palette that we pulled. just doing a light wash. Okay, and I think I'm going to pause here while I just get my hairdryer out and dry this out so that oh, never mind. I will in just a second. I'm going to have this branch coming in back here. I think what I want to use for that is a mix of my Cassel Brown and the bronze Caput Mortuum. So we'll mix a little bit of that. And because it's still wet, it should get all blurry in the background. I might need to darken it a little bit with my Mars Black. Or maybe not. I think that's fine. These branches have little buds coming off. We'll just tidy that up a little bit with our paper towel here. Maybe there's a little bit of mist. I don't know. Sure. All right, we'll pause for that hairdryer. Here we go. Alright, so now paper's dry. I can start to see some of that shimmer coming through. It's kind of fun. I like to start off with, like when I usually paint animals, I like to start off with doing their little face, especially the eye. I think I'm going to work around the eye first. He's got a little bit of a patch of red. Just that right around his little face. I have a little bit of a jagged edge here so that it looks like he's got little feathers. Hopefully it looks like he has feathers. He's a bird. And a little bit of that red goes up here. I think this isn't part of it, but it's part of artistic license here. I'm going to blend it down here. Down here is a big black mark. So I think I'm going to blend it from that to my Cassel Brown. To have it just to be a little bit warmer, and then I'll add a little bit of black to it. There's actually a little bit of darkness around the eye here. Alright, we'll dip into our Mars Black. It's going to be really subtle. You probably won't pick it up on the camera, but in person and in, you know, daylight, be a little subtle shift in color there. There we go. I might as well, while I'm doing those darker marks, fill in the rest of them. There's only a few. So I'll do the same with my Cassel Brown and then a little bit of Mars Black. Alright, do a little bit of these. Let's get some feathers there. Alright. It is kind of hard when you're concentrating on small details to think of things to talk about. So concentrated on what's going on in the painting. He's got some brown that comes up here. It's actually black, but I'm going to make it brown. So, since I do want to get to know you guys better too, while I'm doing this, maybe you could dip into, oh goodness, who's going by my window so loudly? There's actually a guy that lives not far from here, like a couple doors down, that sells little like motorbikes, but like miniature ones. And if people are buying them, they race up and down the street testing them out, and they get a little loud. I don't know if that's this person right now. I don't think it is. But everybody's getting in their cars outside right now. Oh well, that's part of recording. What are you gonna do? What was I saying? Oh yeah. I wanted to get to know you guys. So, in the comments, maybe, ooh, let's play a game. I don't know if you've played Two Truths and a Lie before. I haven't played this in years. So in the comments, put 2 truths and then 1 lie, and we'll see if we can figure out what the fib is about yourself. Now, don't. I hopefully don't need to say this. I don't think I do, because I'm sure you're all lovely people. But let's not get too crazy with the facts and the lies to the point where we're concerned about you, or should be concerned about other people. You never know. I mean, the internet's weird. But I'm sure you're all lovely people, and we're going to have really fun facts and really fun lies in there. And maybe I should have my own. If I'm asking you guys to do this, I probably should do it myself. I wasn't planning this. We're living on the edge here, and just like again, not scripted. Okay. So 3 things about me, one of them will not be true. Fact number 1. I used to teach kids how to ride horses. Fact number 2. I, as a kid, was blind for 3 months, I think. 3 months. Fact number 3 is I'm not very good at this game. Oh gosh. I'm really not. It's gonna be so obvious. Fact number 3 is I professionally trained dogs for showing. They were Irish setters. They're beautiful dogs. They're really goofy. So those are my 3 facts. And one of them was not truthful. It was probably really obvious which one, but that's okay. We're playing a game. I don't have to be good at my own game. Goodness. So in the comments below, your 2 truths and a lie. Oh my goodness. You know, they say on YouTube, when you start doing these recordings, that your first video is not going to be good, and you should just expect it, and it's fine. Taking a sip of tea for comfort here. And that is true. My earlier videos that are no longer available, because they were kind of different than what I'm doing now, they were really bad. I learned a lot, and now I'm trying a new format, and I'm not going to say that this is bad, but I'm not going to say that it's the greatest thing ever, because I'm learning. We're all learning. I think I need to let these dry, so I'm going to pause again just for a bit to dry it out. And we're back with the new zoomed in angle. Here we go. Oh, I really had wished that I could have done this during the daylight hours where it would have looked a little bit better. But we are... Goodness, this is the day after the solstice, winter solstice. So our daylight is short, and it just could not be helped. So we are painting at night. I've done the best I could with my lighting. Hopefully in editing, colors will pop a little bit more. But this is fine. So I'm going to take a little bit of my silver Tuff. Okay, we've got these like brown, like very light brown patches in various places on here. But it's very muted. I'm using a combination of probably the Cassel Brown, silver Tuff, and very lightly the bronze Caput Mortuum, just to warm things up a bit. Oh goodness, I might need to use the golden gold ochre. That's hard for me to say, because it's not just gold ochre. They do have that, and it's beautiful and I use it all the time. I probably need to get some more. But no, this is golden gold ochre. And for some reason, I trip over that every time. That is the color I want, but it's a little heavy. There we go. Just lighten that up a bit. These brushes hold a little more than what I'm used to. It's pretty awesome. They're pretty great. I'm just not used to it yet. Also, proud of myself that I have not put my brush in my tea. I have been very close in the past to doing that, but I have yet in my lifetime to actually put my paintbrush in my drink. Have any of you put your paint in the drink or gone to sip from your dirty or your painting water and lived to tell the tale? I know that there's a painting group that I've joined through Natasha Newton's Patreon, and goodness, it was a few months ago we joked about that. It's a relatable thing. I know so many artists that have had the same struggle. If you use like old mugs or something like that for your painting water, it's very dangerous. Don't recommend. Alright, so we've got some shadows here under his belly. Using a little bit of the Cassel Brown in there. Don't know if any of you are going to try this. If you do decide to try it, I don't know. I don't know if you would want tutorials from me. I've debated on whether or not to do tutorials on my channel. They're super popular. People really like them. But I don't know, when I've gone and looked at other channels' tutorials, they're either something that looks really complicated and would maybe steer people away if they're beginners, or they're super easy, like it's painting not even 101. It's here's how to hold a paintbrush. I think there are quite a bit of people that are they're in between, like they've done some tutorials before. I also noticed that most of them are like these floral ones or landscapes. I see a lot of landscapes. I typically don't do landscapes, although I could. I usually do animals. And I don't know. I don't know if you would want something like that, if you want to do more animals, if something like what I'm doing right now is enough guidance for you. If you want to just like try it on your own. I think it depends on the person, but I don't know. But you're very welcome to let me know in the comments if you would be interested in tutorials and about what speed you're at. Like, would you want to do some animals? How confident are you in doing those? Or if there's other things that I typically paint that you would like to learn how to paint. You can either like look through my channel, or like there's the gallery on my website too. I'm gonna shamelessly plug that website so much this month. So just get ready for that. Which is so weird to do. I'm not used to talking about myself all that much. So, and I realize I haven't been talking a whole lot about what I've been doing. So I'll just backtrack here. So these shadows under here are just really light washes of Cassel Brown. I've got the golden gold ochre. There we go. Successfully set it. Right up here, just really light washes, and then this is the bronze Caput Mortuum, kind of blending with that golden gold ochre. And you're gonna leave a little bit of white right up here. Okay. Now he's got this really bright yellow here in his feathers. It's like this really bright lemon yellow, but I'm actually not going to do that. It would look a little too harsh and a little too vibrant, so I'm just going to use some saturated golden gold ochre and the parts of his wing that are just, oh goodness, that's okay, we can make mistakes. Oh, we can make them twice. These brushes hold so much, my goodness. Place that in there. There is like a branch that comes right there, so I'm gonna leave that alone. Now I've got quite a bit of paint there. I actually need to put more brown in there. I'll lighten it up just a bit because I need the paper showing through a little more than that. If you've got your paint too saturated, it blocks the light from the paper. That's how you have light. You can't like add white successfully to this and have it show through nicely. If you need white in your painting, you need to use the paper for that in most cases. There we go. He's so fat and cute. I think, should we test the waters here? Yep, that's all dry. So I can actually do his little eyeball. So hopefully don't get too much water in this. He's got a little bit of gray, like a gray ring around his eye, so I'm just going to leave that white for now. That looks good. And darken around his eye just a little bit more. That bronze Caput Mortuum is pretty bright. There we go. Well, now it blended together and kind of made him look a little angry. Once it's all filled in, he'll look less angry. Right now he's a little irritated. He'll get over it eventually. There we go. He's so cute. He's a chunky guy. Alright. I really want to finish this out with the black there, but I need to let that dry. Shall we do some feet? I feel like bird feet are just awkward things for me to paint. I don't know. It's like this really cute, and then you've got these like dinosaur talons coming out. I don't know, that's just me. So I'm going to use some bronze Caput Mortuum. Just a little bit of a wash there, just to start blocking the shapes. Now, if doing a project like this is really intimidating because there's like, you'd say, Angie, there's no way I can draw this bird. Fret not. When I do my drawings, like I'll sketch something first, but I don't ever do it on the watercolor paper because I don't want mistakes to be ground into the paper and darken it. I'll usually sketch something in my sketchbook. I have no idea. Hang on a second. He's got this one little toe that's up here. I had to look at my reference image for a sec. Sorry. It is really long toenail. So anyways, I'll sketch in the sketchbook. And then take tracing paper, trace over it, make some what's called graphite paper out of it. It's not traditional graphite paper. You can get graphite paper, but I would advise against it. It will make it dark. Where did I put this? Here we are. Okay. So you can trace over it. I usually use one color of color pencil, flip it over, trace it again with a graphite pencil, and then flip it over, put it over the paper that you would want to use, and trace it with a different colored pencil. And it will rub the graphite from underneath onto your paper. And the reason why I use two different color pencils is it's easier to see what you've traced already. So if you're like, I really can't draw this, I'm not there yet, you know, trace on it and then learn the painting part. I'm always going to encourage learning drawing as well. But you're not going to get all of it in a day. That's just reality, and it's, excuse me, totally fine. Just depends on what your goals are. If you're learning how to draw, then maybe take some time to practice it and then trace it. Trace your drawing. If you're going for learning the painting part of it, just print out your reference image, and what you can also do is on your computer size it so it's the correct size for your watercolor paper. I don't know if that's where his toes are, but that's where it's going to be for now. I've been talking and haven't been looking at where the toes should be. He's got toes. That's fine. He's got a little one coming in the back there. I think the other back one is covered by the branches, so we're good. Alright, I think, yep, we're okay to finish up that wing. And then we'll let the feet dry. We can finish up the feet, and then it'll be time for the branches and the buds that are on there. Maybe I should drink my tea as well. Can you hear the rasp in my voice? You would think as a teacher I would get used to speaking, but I never do. I'm actually a really quiet person. If I'm just left to myself, I'm a hermit at home and I talk to no one except for maybe my cat. I've actually got 2 cats right now. Alright, that's what I was doing. I get distracted. Alright, let's finish that up. So yes, I have 2 cats. I have Dusty And the other one is Nargles. And if you get the reference for Nargles, I know that you like Harry Potter. I'm not a huge Harry Potter person. Like, it was fun back in the day. But my husband and I thought Nargles was so funny of a name that we just had to name something Nargles, and our cat became it. Okay. I think we're gonna pause and let our little toes dry. I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. I actually took the opportunity to get myself some more tea, so that was lovely. I'm trying something new. That's like the theme of today, is trying new things, I guess. This is lemon lavender tea. It's actually a gift from one of my students, so thank you. I don't think my students actually watch my channel, but that's okay. They're a little young for YouTube anyway. So, let's go ahead, and I realized also while I was gone, I haven't even done the beak yet. This probably looks weird, really weird without a beak. So let's add that. It's kind of a peachy color. So we'll just use a little bit of this Caput Mortuum that we've got in the palette. And just add a little wash. And then I'll just dot in some golden gold ochre. There we go. I can say it. If you think I'm making too big of a deal of it, you say golden gold ochre 20 times and then get back to me. I don't know, maybe it's just fine for you, but for some reason my brain finds it very difficult. Alright, so just gonna lighten the center of the beak a little bit. And let's just dot in some of this gold ochre here. I'm just gonna say gold ochre. You guys know it's sparkly. You know it's the golden gold ochre. I think we're there. Just gonna let this kind of mingle on its own a little bit. I think that's the right. Sometimes you just gotta fiddle. Until you have the right color or consistency or whatever you need on the page. And then once that's dry, you can add on a little bit of shadow for the line there for the mouth. Okay, then we've got these little feet. Let's add in some shadows for the feet. Use a little Cassel Brown. Oop, I dipped into the wrong color. I don't like it when I do that because I don't like wasting paint, but it happens. So I'm just going to go into the center of the shapes here for the feet. And just have a little bit of an outline from that previous color. It'll look like it has a little bit of a shadow. I don't think it really needs that much of like detail. I went downstairs to get my tea. And my husband started giggling a little bit. Because you remember earlier when I was saying I was feeling just a little bit awkward about talking to myself in my office here while my husband is running around the house. I go downstairs and he's like, "Do you still feel awkward with me running around the house?" Like he quoted me. Like, that's super helpful, thanks. And he's like, I wasn't outside just lurking. I just happened to be walking by when you said it. Sure. It's fine. He talks to himself all the time throughout the house, so it's fine. Ugh. I have to sneeze. I'm gonna pause for sneeze. Alright, we're gonna let those feet dry. For the buds and the branches here. The buds are kind of reddish. Those will be with the bronze Caput Mortuum, and then we'll use some Cassel Brown for the actual like branch part of it. It'll be watered down. I think we can get away with this brush. I suppose I should say the sizes too. Like this one's a 10. My smaller one that I'm using is a 3. This is a 1/2 inch. And this is a 3/4 inch. I haven't even used this one. I don't know, this is a new one for me. I haven't had this shape before. I'll need to experiment with it. And this is a 16. Okay. I have some of the Caput Mortuum in my palette, so I'll just use that first. So these little buds, we're just going to put a wash of red here. It's like a reddish brown. I'm just going for the overall silhouette here. And then my computer went to sleep and my image went away. Wake up, computer. There we go. Once I have the silhouette there, you can go in with either a dry brush or a paper towel and put in some highlights for where the light places are for these little bumps. I think for this one I might use a brush. It's a little more precise. The other thing that you could maybe try is putting in some blooms with some water, but I don't think you would want that. It's not as precise. It might get a little out of control. If you want a lot of texture, do that. I'm just dropping in clean water and rubbing some of the pigment off. And then drying the brush. So you're just wiping up some of that pigment. And then just brushing it on the paper towel. Then you end up with little highlights. Okay. So we'll do that for all of the blooms there, the little buds. There's like little clusters of them here. You need a little more color than that. The Caput Mortuum is really opaque. So when I dip my brush in there, it picks up a lot. Probably more than I need most of the time. There any more? There's one right there. Okay. You'll have a little cluster down here. There we go. All right. And we'll do the same thing as before, just taking some water and adding in those highlights. It doesn't have to be a big difference. It's probably hard to know if you haven't seen the reference image. If you're not looking at that, then you're probably a little confused as to what these are supposed to look like. But that's okay, you'll see in a couple minutes here. And I've got some blank space here, so I'm just gonna pretend that there's another bud there. We'll just fill it in. There we go. Okay. So now this first one that we did over here is probably dry enough for me to go in with some more bronze Caput Mortuum, this time a little bit darker. Fill in. Oh, that's still pretty wet. We're gonna go with it. And just those places that are gonna be darker, I'm gonna let it sit in there. We'll see what that does. And if it gets too wild, then we'll just clean it up later. And I'm only putting it in the places where not a whole lot of light is showing. I'm just dotting it in. To be perfectly honest, I don't have a very specific plan for this. Sometimes you don't. You have new shapes or something, or you're trying something out for the first time, like we're doing today. Just try something out. Even though this isn't in my sketchbook, I still consider it a learning experience. If it's awful, which I highly doubt it's going to be awful, you know, it's not the end of the world. If you're painting at home and you try something and it doesn't work out, you don't have to show anybody. and you learn something. It does not mean that you're bad at painting. I think a lot of people put way too much pressure on themselves when they paint. Even like artists that have been painting for years. Myself included. If I'm really invested in a painting, then yeah, I have moments too where I have to remind myself that it is just fine if I mess things up. And it used to be like, if I mess something up, I would just crumple it up and I wouldn't even revisit the idea again. But now I just try it again. It's like give myself a little bit of a break. Kind of think about the process and where it went wrong and try something new. And actually one of my best paintings from the year, that was the case. I tried it once. If you go like look at it before, it's the rabbit that's in my gallery. It's probably like one of the ones I'm most proud of actually from this year. It was a total failure the first run around. The rabbit looked really creepy. But took notes of what worked and what didn't. Gave myself a little bit of a break and oh, that's the wrong color. I'm going here. It turned out really good the second time. I don't think those buds are dry enough for me to work on them, so I can work on the branches. I'm just going to add some Cassel Brown to add some water to that. And the cool thing about deep lights paints generally, but definitely the Cassel Brown, is it granulates really beautifully. Okay, that's dry enough that I can do that. I might add in a little bit of the Mars Black. Their Mars Black definitely granulates a lot. I think that's the one that I've used from them that granulates the most. You get really distinct patterns from it. With something like a branch, it makes it look really natural. It gives it a really cool texture. And I'll let that do its thing with a lot of water in there, and it'll settle into the grooves of the paper and look like bark. Should probably be a little more careful and precise with these branches, but I don't feel like doing that. I'm gonna be a little bit reckless, I guess. Crazy. Probably not over the bird. I don't want to mess up my bird. Here we go. I think it's because I'm tired. I usually don't paint at night because of the lighting. But I really want to get this video out for you guys before I take a little bit of a break this week for Christmas and visiting with family. I'm gonna do a little bit of, like minimal cooking. I'm gonna make some, I think, if I have time, some really basic bread. We're talking like the most basic, like easiest thing. There's no kneading. But I love fresh bread. I'm gonna do that. And I'm in charge of stuffing, and I'm just making stovetop stuffing. Not sponsored. I'm actually, speaking of, I'm not sponsored by Deep Light or, what's this, Princeton. Like, these are just things that I like using. I've actually gotten a lot of Deep Lights paints this last year. Noticed a couple of people using them, like Natasha Newton and Crixus, talking about them a lot. And I really like granulating paints specifically, and also ones that are really opaque. This is probably the lightest painting I've done all year. Alright. Put a little bit more paint here, just to, like, I'll do a line of it for a shadow. Same thing down here. The darkness will have it pushed back behind the branch that's in front. There we go. We got some branches. And then let's take a little bit more. And we'll put in some shadows. That's still pretty wet. I might need to take a break to use my hairdryer. And we'll come back to this. Alright, so now that that's dry, start adding in with the bronze Caput Mortuum darker areas of these buds. They are a little blended together in the shadow. Say for this part, it's probably best to look at your reference image. And just look at the basic shapes that are in there. Look for your lights and their darks. The ones that are further back make darker. I'm not going to be terribly specific with this because a lot of it's in shadow. So I'll just put in the bronze Caput Mortuum where the shadows are, and then just drop in the Cassel Brown. And in the very center, I'll put in some Mars Black just to make it a little bit deeper. I'll carry the shadow down a little bit on the branch. And it's going to look a little bit funny because now I've got light and I've got really dark. That's fine, because after that dries, you can just put in some of the mid-tones, those in-between values. And that will kind of bridge the gap between your shadows and your highlights. And if that seems like really complicated, like, you know what, you can always get another piece of paper and try it out, like a practice paper. And if it's a brand new concept to you, then you try it out and it doesn't work out for you, give yourself a little bit of grace. It was a brand new concept for you and you tried something for the first time. Again, it doesn't mean that you're a terrible painter. It means that you're learning. And even after trying and failing, that means you're a better painter than you were before you picked up your brush, because you knew more. And this is where drawing practice comes in handy too. So when you try to make things look three-dimensional, you're working with values. Where are your highlights? Where are your shadows? And when you try to do that for the first time with color, like, that just adds another layer of difficulty. So if you're trying that out for the first time, I highly recommend just getting a normal pencil out and trying it just black and white. That'll simplify it for you. Color is really complex. I don't think anybody ever stops learning about color. And I still do that. I've been painting for a while. You know, I'm in my 40s now. Been doing this a bit. And sometimes I still, like, just to get my brain to understand the shapes and the forms and everything, simplifying it by taking out color really does help. Just until you can kind of wrap your brain around what you're actually seeing and not what your brain assumes is there. Sounds like I need more tea right now too. All right. Hope it doesn't sound too, like, lecture-y with me talking about it. Discuss it with my students all the time. And actually, they're teachers too when they bring them in. It doesn't matter what school I've been at. Like, the people that seem to be the most insecure about their artistic abilities always seem to be the adults. My first graders jump right in and try things. And the older my students get, the tougher it is to get them to try. Okay, that needs to be, oh, we gotta get that one, and then I'll get out the blow dryer. And I'll pause it for a second until that's dry. All right, let's get the blow dryer. All right, so now this is dry. I'm just going to take my small brush, a little bit of water in it, and just kind of blend. Just kind of rub a little bit between. So that some of those lines aren't as harsh. And I'm not being super accurate with it, because at the end, what I'm planning on doing is just taking my color pencils, just a couple of color pencils, and neatening things up. I didn't put any shadows down here, I noticed. You can also put in a little more shadow on your branches if you need. I think this is not quite as dark as what I wanted. I'm not going right up to the edge of the underside of the branch, because there is light wrapping around underneath. There's bounce light. Also not being super accurate with this. Don't really want to be. It's not like a hyper realistic painting. Want to just relax and have a good time and not take myself too seriously here. Okay, so while that's drying, I do want to get a little bit more and take bronze Caput Mortuum and the golden gold ochre, mix them together. There are a couple places where there's some reddish brown in the body of the bird. That I didn't quite get. It kind of blended out a little more when it dried, so I'm going to add it back in. And this will also help to give some shape to this little round guy. So he's got this kind of like an egg shape right here. And this, because it has a little bit of a patch here. So we'll add that color and then go in with some water, just a little bit of water in there, and blend out the edges of it. You can also use a paper towel too, which I think I'm going to do because that got a little bigger than what I wanted. Want a little more yellow in there too. And just tap around the edges there. He also has a little more shadow around here. I'm going to round out his little tummy. Just a little bit of Cassel Brown. Got a little bit of shadow there. And then some here. Just a little bit of shadow. So you've got like this egg shape. And also it's rounded here. I dried a little more than I thought it did, so just wet the brush and reactivate the paint a little bit. There we go. Let's add in a little bit of a shadow on the beak. He's got his little mouth. He's got his little nostril there. Okay. This area around his eye is actually pretty dark, so I'll just use that while we have it. And then I can just go in with a color pencil and add like a little white mark so there's a reflection from the eye. Doesn't look like his eye is a endless void. No, it's completely black in the reference image, but not everything has to look like the reference image. You're not locked into that. So if something doesn't feel quite right to you, just change it. I think my voice is just about used up. But we are almost done. So I'm going to use some of my color pencils here. I think I'm going to use the Polychromos pencils from Faber-Castell. So I've got, this is probably, yep, it's burnt sienna, walnut brown, and I'm going to get a black out, and the white. Okay. Goodness. Need to sharpen my black. It's pretty used up. It's a little guy now. And you don't have to do this step. You can always go in with like your smaller brush and add it in with paint. By this stage of the painting, I always found this just a little bit easier, a little bit faster. So, I'm just going to neaten up some of my edges. He's got a little bit of a split in his tail there. Where else do I need this? Maybe add a little bit of definition on your blossoms. A little bit darker shadow. Or they're buds really, not blossoms. You can always go in with your white too. I wouldn't advise doing too much with the white because it tends to look a little muddy if you do too much. Yeah. Just little bits. Let's put in a little bit of a reflection there. That didn't look the greatest. Let's go back in and make it black. Just go around the eye a little bit, give it a little more definition. There we go. This part is really up to you, whatever you feel that your bird needs. You can also take just lightly grazing the paper over the branches, and it'll add a little more texture to your bark. You don't need to do the whole thing, just a little bit in places. Adds a little more interest. Is that dry enough? Yeah. There we go. Here's this walnut brown here for the shadow. It's very light, very subtle. There we go. I think the only thing left you have to do is sign your work. There you have it. We have our bird. Well, congratulations if you made it all the way through this part of the video. If you watched all the way through, you can type in the comments golden gold ochre and I will know that you heard me successfully say it and you made it to the end of the video. I hope you found this fun. I'd really love some feedback in the comments if this was fun for you, if you want to see more of these. I'll be looking for your 2 truths and a lie, and that'll be a fun game. And then happy holidays. Whatever you're celebrating, I hope you're having a really good time, and I hope I could keep you company for a part of it. And I'll see you later.